Alright, this is basically the lowest fuel consumption I've ever had in the past 2 years. Hey guys, Max here, and today I'm gonna give you my opinion on this Toyota Aurion. It's a 2008 year and it's basically a V6 Camry. So I've had this car for 2 years and it has been my daily driver for 2 years. It's not a show car, as you can see, but it has been so practical. As you can see, I've got a tow bar. I've installed an aftermarket reverse camera on it. So this is a sport version of the Aurion. As you can see, it has the rear spoilers, has 17-inch wheels, and it has some side skirts. So as you can see, this car has almost 250,000 kilometers on the clock. Tank average, that's average fuel economy. That's 7 liters doing my commute to work. I can say it's mostly highway. It's a pretty damn good fuel economy, 7 liters per 100 for a V6 3.5 liter V6 engine. So let's have a look at the interior. It's still very intact and nice. Seats are comfy, lots of room. You can see it has the V6 under the bonnet. One thing to look for is take the cap off while the car is off and have a good look inside. See how dirty the engine is. That's a good indication of how the oil has been maintained. This is very important on this car because the VVTi lines are very thin, and that can cause a problem with clogging the oil lines. Nice rear seats, lots of legroom and rear AC vents as well. Got seat pockets. The sport pedals. Right, let's start it up. 250,000 kilometers on the clock. Very smooth ride. Very smooth engine. So what went wrong with this car? First of all, the remote doesn't work. So what is the cause? As it turns out to be a typical problem with all the Aurions, there is a receiver over here in the C-pillar inside that it starts to going off after a while. The indication is that if you heat that up, heat that module with the heat gun, it starts working. Next, the Australian version of this car has a tendency to wear the front and rear tires unevenly, and the steering wheel pulls mostly to the left. It seems like this car is not designed for Australia, as it's right hand steering. But I checked too many of these cars, Camrys and Aurions of this era, they all have the same issue. Also, there is sometimes the problem with the dashboard being cracked, so I have to have a look at that as well. On this car, the dashboard is actually replaced by Toyota, which is a good thing. So what's good about this car? Well, almost everything. The reliability, engine power, 268 horses, the V6 smoothness, and also the 6-speed transmission. When you put it in normal mode, not in sports mode, it shifts like a dream, but when you put it in manual sport mode, it's very laggy. Fuel economy is great. I always get something like 680 kilometers per tank. That's almost 8 liters per 100 kilometer, which is pretty damn good for a V6, for a 3.5 liter engine. Also, the car looks good for the era of it coming from, especially the sport version. So, what I didn't like about this car, first of all, the stiff suspension. That's not my thing. It gives a bit of good handling, being a Sportivo, but you might not like the stiff suspension, especially on highway when the road is a bit bumpy. That doesn't makes you feel like driving a Camry or normal Aurion. Also, one more thing to mention is about sometimes these cars tend to smoke at the beginning when you start the car. It can be sometimes, not all the time. It can be if the previous owner or the owner changed the oil not often, and let's say after 15 or 20,000 Ks, after some time, the oil baffles on the valve cover gets clogged, and you'll get that oil inside the engine and it burns. But as soon as you clean the inside of valve cover and the baffle, it goes away. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Please like and subscribe and make sure you watch my other videos. See ya!